ICE just stormed the NYC courthouse, broad daylight, no warning, and detained over 800 migrants during their legal hearings. These weren't criminals. Many were here for paperwork. But ICE didn't flinch. They surrounded the building and made their move, enforcing federal law where state leaders wouldn't.
Are you from this country?
No, with the
No responded.
No country from. Sorry. So nice to see you. Yeah. Perfect.
Agents showed up at the Manhattan Immigration Court just as proceedings began. They didn't disrupt trials. They waited until the right moment, then entered. Dozens were detained in the halls and courtrooms. These weren't drug traffickers or gang members. These were people seeking status updates or asylum. But that's the point. Under Trump's mandate, even routine immigration violations carry consequences. And when a Democrat mayoral candidate got in their way, ICE cuffed him too. No exceptions.
Are following breaking news here in Manhattan, where New York City mayoral candidate and the city's controller, Brad Lander, was just detained at immigration court. Brad Lander's wife, Meg, posted this video to his account showing him being handcuffed in a federal building. NBC's Julia Ainsley is reporting. Julie, we just came off a conversation about Senator Padilla and his speech on the Senate floor after he was handcuffed. But what happened here?
Well, in this case, the comptroller, Brad Lander, we understand was walking arm in arm with an immigrant who had just had his case dismissed, but ICE was looking to arrest him. This is something I've seen time and time again, where the federal court system might say this person should not be detained, but ICE arrests them again on immigration charges. So in this case, they say that the comptroller, Brad Lander, was in the way, and so they moved to arrest him, or detain him, rather. It's not clear if he's been charged or exactly what has happened in the meantime.
One migrant starts cracking jokes while being detained. No explanation, no panic, just smug defiance.
Why are you grabbing me? Yes, but I just hold on. Don't grab me. Wait, I have the right for due process, don't I? So why are you grabbing me like this? Not very nice.
Just remember, you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to give ID.
Take a look at this footage. Agents don't hesitate. They move in fast, coordinated, professional. You hear shouts, accusations of kidnapping. But this wasn't a surprise. These hearings are scheduled. ICE knew who would be there. So did the migrants. The law doesn't disappear because you're in a courtroom. If anything, it hits harder.
Many of you were at those rallies in cities and communities across the country when the president spoke about his commitment to removing violent illegal criminals and anyone who has broken our nation's immigration laws from American communities.
Now the usual voices come out calling it lawless. They say families are being torn apart. Critics will scream racism or cruelty. But ask yourself, should laws only apply to citizens?
This is not about legal immigration enforcement. At this point, it's actually lawlessness that we are seeing from ICE, that we are seeing from the Trump administration.
So now NYC's comptroller, who inserted himself into an ICE operation, is crying foul. He says migrants are losing their rights, but he's got lawyers.
I'm New York City Controller Brad Lander, and I'm happy to report I am just fine. I lost a button. I'm gonna sleep in my bed tonight, safe with my family. I'm grateful to hear that the charges are not being brought, but if they are, I've got a lawyer. I don't have to worry about my due process rights. At that elevator, I was separated from someone named Edgardo, who I had just met a couple of minutes earlier. Edgardo is in ICE detention, and he's not going to sleep in his bed tonight. So far as I know, he has no lawyer. He has been stripped of his due process rights by a government and a judge that owe him.
The backlash was immediate. Protesters swarmed the courthouse steps. Not surprising. New York City has been told for years that immigration law is optional. Now that reality is changing, they're outraged. Some tried to stop ICE physically and got arrested.
Dozens of people arrested outside Immigration Court in Manhattan tonight, hours after ICE agents detained several people in its field office. This comes a week after a Bronx high school student was arrested by ICE. Ali Bauman has more.
You will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct.
Protests erupted into chaos Wednesday night outside the federal immigration court in Soho. Officers and crowds clashing over barricades. About 24 protesters taken into custody for charges that include obstruction of government administration.
People say, oh, let them come in legally. And when they try to come in legally and follow the court proceedings, they're being kidnapped.
The protests come hours after witnesses report several people were taken into custody inside the ICE field office in Lower Manhattan.
I've been working here for a couple of years, and I've never seen either this many agents, let alone agents dressed in plain clothes, wearing masks, pulling people out of line. It's totally out of the ordinary.
Night 2. Chaos again. Protesters clashed with NYPD. Some blocked streets, hurled debris, and tried to stop traffic. They call it peaceful protest, but it looked more like a tantrum.
Immigration enforcement here and around the country has spurred a second night of protests in Lower Manhattan. Protesters blocked streets and clashed with police. Ali Bauman spoke with the deputy mayor for public safety about the NYPD's handling of these demonstrations.
Protesters returned to the federal immigration courts in Lower Manhattan Wednesday, where arrests ensued.
Deportation no more!
This is the second day of demonstrations here against the ongoing federal immigration raids.
I have family members that I'm the voice for because they're scared and they can't draw any attention to themselves.
Dahlia came after her shift as a registered nurse.
I help a lot of people that don't have access to health care, and if it wasn't for people like me and products of immigrants, this healthcare system would fall apart even more than so. So this is personal.
Out on Long Island, ICE agents swept through Glen Cove, where local police told us they had no advance warning.
ICE didn't stop at the courthouse. Agents hit Long Island too, places where migrants thought they were safe. Local police say they had no warning. That's because this was a federal operation. It didn't need permission.
Protesters returned to the federal immigration courts in Lower Manhattan Wednesday, where arrests ensued.
So here we are. ICE walked straight into one of the bluest cities in America and enforced federal law. No apologies. Officials got in the way and were treated like anyone else. Protesters screamed about justice while blocking traffic and throwing bricks. You tell me, was this the collapse of law or the return of it?